Hey guys, I haven't talked to you guys in quite a while. I haven't been doing my YouTube videos lately, and I've had a job change and done some other things. And I wanted to show you that I bought a pretty big deal of this is like half of them. These are 27 by 40-inch movie posters from a old movie theater that shut down in 2008, and I bought all of their back stock of movie posters, and those movies are from like 2002 to 2008. And when I went to go look at the deal, one of the first things that I did is I was trying to evaluate this deal, looking at maybe 450 tubes. I'm in my garage. I normally, buy just a few tubes at a time. And so let me get up here and show you something. I normally don't try to show my messy garage. Actually, my wife cleaned our entire garage out so we could start pulling things in for the winter time. And what do? I go and buy 2,500 or 3,000 movie posters. And they're in these tubes. Now the deal that I had, I was trying to evaluate the deal. All I saw were these in a storage area, and I didn't really know what they were really worth. First thing that I saw sitting on top, and I said, "Well, when did the movie theater close?" "Oh, 2008." "Okay. So how far back do they go? These movie posters go probably 2002, 2001, or 2002. Instantly, I thought, "Ooh, Star Wars, Harry Potter." The movies started going through my mind like that could be a real possibility. So what do I mean? This is the first box I opened. The very first box. Now, most of these movie posters are 27 by 40, big posters. This is the very first thing I saw. Who's Your Daddy? Star Wars Episode 3, Father's Day 2005. This is the first box I opened. Now, it was in a FedEx box, just a little small box. And if you can see in there, there's like 25 of them in there, of those posters. Now, so I'm trying to make a deal quick. I don't want this person to, like, they gave me first choice because they know that I deal in a lot of posters and art and stuff like that. So first thing I see is Episode 3 poster, and it's about a $8 to $10 poster on eBay, but hardly anybody has these. Certainly not 25 of them. So anyway, as soon as I saw that, I thought, well, there could be 27 by 40, posters that are Star Wars, Harry Potter. It started going through my mind like, what other movies are during that time frame? Like a lot of great movies. It's kind of the golden age of like comedies, dumb comedies with Will Ferrell and all of that, right? Like Elf and Step Brothers and Talladega Nights and all those, and they're all in here. So most of the tubes, and whenever you're coming across it, when you're trying to make a deal and somebody gives you a great price or says name your price, and I'm looking and I see maybe 400, 450 of these tubes, I just said about 450 bucks for all of them. And he didn't hesitate. He said, okay. Because he had already bought it. I got it from a theater. He got it from a theater and he called me. So it was basically, I just saw him kind of sight unseen. I basically had about 10 minutes to make the decision. Like he was like, if you don't want him, I'll call somebody else. No hard feelings. We're good friends. This guy's a good friend of mine. So it was no hard feelings about any of that. It was just like, I was like, about 450 bucks. And he was like, okay, can you come by and get them tomorrow? Because he needed to clean out his trailer with all this stuff. We filled up an entire like 10 by 20 trailer of movie posters. And Some of them are bus shelter ones. Can you see that? How big those are? Those are those are 4 foot by 8 foot, big ones. Um, Nacho Libre is one of them. But anyway, I just wanted to say, like, I haven't been really making videos lately because I've been doing deals like this. I've been doing bigger deals and really pouring myself into my eBay business more. I changed my regular job, so I'm not been in the healthcare field anymore, and so I'm not kind of saddled with having to do that kind of work. Where we're in the era of COVID, and it was very difficult to do that anymore, and so I changed jobs, and that it's a lot less stress and worry about getting sick. And so anyway, this deal came up. I took it. I said $450. I'll do it. I mean, the tubes. If the tubes were empty, then they're $1 a piece. So even if I just bought them for shipping tubes, I probably got my money back. That was my whole thought process. Well, if I did that, then you can see I really don't care. I don't have my shirt buttoned, but it's hot out here. It's hot in Kentucky. But here's the deal. I looked at that, and then some of the tubes might have let me try to walk around over here, give you a good idea of some of these. All of the tubes have like what the movie is on them when they originally got sent. So this one is Flushed Away, or Cloverfield, or whatever. A lot of them. Oh, here's another one. Here's one, and you can kind of see it. Can you see that? It says Eon Flux. Oh, kind of. There it is. Eon Flux. So a lot of them have them on here. It's 2005. Some of the movie posters are super cool, like very colorful. They're called, and I didn't know this about movie posters at all. I mean, who doesn't go to the movies and see movie posters? But I didn't really know this that much about movie posters. They have something called a teaser, which doesn't really have any information at the bottom of the thing. It might be just like a picture of Ben Stiller shooting a gun, and it's for Tropic Thunder, and it's just Ben Stiller. It doesn't have any information on the bottom. It will have like the movie's name and then maybe his name on it, and that's it. Or Mr. Incredible will be on there, and it will just say the date that the movie's coming out. That's a teaser. It doesn't have any information, who made the movie or anything. That's it. So you have a teaser. Then they'll send out a movie poster that will be unrated. So they'll say, this movie has not yet been rated. Didn't know that they made those. And it will have all the information at the bottom, but it'll say this movie has not been rated. I think I've got one for Kicking and Screaming like that. It says not yet rated, so you don't know if it was going to be PG or G or PG-13 or rated R. So that's something that you have to look for whenever you're doing it. So teaser is something with no information on the bottom. Then they have the unrated poster that they would put out, and it's more information. It will be a little bit more colorful. It might be like all the different characters of the movie. It might be a big group shot of the Avengers or something. And then they'll have their rated poster, and then that will come out. Those are the 27 by 40 posters. Teasers, unrated, rated. They're all double-sided, so the back is a reverse of the front, so when they shine a light through it, it looks great. When they put it up in the marquee, you can see through it. So all of them are double-sided. They're all on really thick paper. And this deal came with also bus shelters, which are 4 by 8, big, 4 feet by 8 feet, huge bus shelters. And I have some mini posters, like we showed that Who's Your Daddy, which are like promotional things that they would just give out in the lobby. Well, obviously somebody held those back and didn't give them out, or they gave out as many as they wanted and they held them back or whatever. I have like mini posters that are for like Ladder 49, a John Travolta movie, or Flushed Away, or some Pixar movies, or that kind of thing. But I would say 90% of them are those movies. Well, and the other thing that I didn't realize how good of a deal I got. Now, I didn't realize how good of a deal I got until I got the deal and I brought them all home. Well, here's one of the movies. I guess this is shown in reverse, but anyway, here's Pineapple Express, and this is my kind of my setup. I've got that, and then I take a picture up above. I take a picture, and but anyway, so that's kind of my setup. So something that I didn't realize, I thought, well, I've got about 400 movies, right? I mean, maybe movie posters. I got about 400. I got 400 or so of these, and maybe there's a couple in each one. No, most of these rolls, or the tubes, the cardboard tubes, most of them have double the poster. Like that Pineapple Express, there's two of them, came in the same roll, and that's the rated poster. So the Pineapple Express had, it's one tube, and in my brain, I was thinking, oh, I got 400 tubes. Here's 450 tubes. I see one box of like 35 tubes was empty, so I knew those were empty, and I thought, well, what if there's 3 or 4 more of these boxes that are just plain empty and there's nothing in them? Then I was kind of like, that's why I offered $450. And the guy said, if you offer me something less than 1,000, he said, offer me something more than 100 and less than 1,000, and I'll take it. And so I just kind of shot for the middle, and I think we both got a good deal. I really didn't have any home run. I didn't really have any home runs in the whole thing. I didn't have any Star Wars, very unique, or I didn't have any, during that time frame, there's a lot of movies that are very, movie posters that are very collectible. I didn't have any of those, as far as I know. Now, I had Pirates of the Caribbean, which is cool, and Casino Royale, Spider-Man, and a few others that are $50 to $80 movie posters, but I only really had about, and I had the original Iron Man 2008, and it's got the collage of people on it, and I had 3 of those, and those goes for $100 a piece. So with just Iron Man and my Casino Royales, about 6 posters, I paid for the whole deal. That is unbelievable. I mean, because then you start getting into the thought of the rest of these posters are worth $15 free ship, or $25 free ship, or $20 free ship, and it's going to be a lot of work, but I've already sold 2 Casino Royales and an Iron Man, and I've only really had them listed for just a few days. So those have already sold. So I'm in really good shape. I think after I list a few more today that are very popular, collectible, man cavey type movie posters, because that's what I'm kind of shooting for right now, is like man cave type stuff. But these posters are in mint condition. I mean, most of them are in mint condition. They were never taken out of the rolls. They just got left in the rolls. They never got hung. Now, I've got a bunch of them you can see that were hung, and most of them are in really good shape. I will sell them, and I'll just say, hey, these were hung up. But they're still double-sided. They're still 27 by 40. They're still an original movie poster from 20 years ago. So somebody will want them. I think there's like a Tom Cruise Collateral, or Tom Cruise Mission Impossible 3 or something. It be in good shape. It's in good shape. I would put it in a frame and hang it up, no problem. I mean, you're not going to see any of the damage if it's put in a frame, which most people will put it in a frame. I mean, you're buying something for $20, I'm going to frame it. By at Walmart, just go down there and buy a $17 poster frame. Anyway, I think some of the kids' movies, maybe a kid will just tack it up. I mean, that's cool, but I would assume most people are going to buy a poster frame for some of these movies because they're so colorful and cool. Now, a pleasant surprise was I didn't have a lot of empty tubes. I just had that one box, and it was up front. And I had one box of posters that were really torn. I mean, they were really torn and beat up. And I just put those off to the side, and I'll use them for packing material or use them for something else because I sell so many other things on eBay. But I just wanted to let y'all know that I came upon this deal. You kind of have to have your eyes and ears open for certain things. I don't do this every day. Obviously, I just normally buy like, hey, you got 10 prints or 10 posters, I'll buy them off of this person. But this was just like, as soon as I walked in there, my face was like, I'll be honest with you. The very first thought I thought was, my wife is going to kill me because she just cleaned out the garage this week. And I thought, oh, she is going to kill me. Because I'm like, because I had told her, such and such is wanting to sell me some movie posters. And she's like, oh, that's cool. Because most of the time it's like 10, you know. So, and then I went to go look at it. I took a picture and she was like, oh, wow. But she's very supportive. So it's not like that. I just was laughing to myself like, well, Laura made a spot for us in the garage. But I think a lot of these posters. Now I counted. See these ones that are right behind me, and those in that brown box, and there's two buckets right there. It's probably about 110. There's probably about 110 tubes. There's probably about 250 posters. And those posters are going to range from $20 free ship, which shipping one of these is 12 ounces, which is cool because it goes first class. Now, if it's a really expensive one, then I'm probably going to send it priority and send it the right way, you know, and put insurance and all that on it. But if it's like a $20 poster, I'll just send it first class. So you can send them first class. That's cool. That's why I was like, oh my gosh, that's amazing. I can send these first class. It cost me $5, $5.60 or something, whatever it is. $5.60 pretty much to send it first class if it's like 12 ounces. Now, most of these will ship for that. So I would say that big box is going to be the $20 free shipping box. There's some in there that are going to be $35. There's going to be some for $40. But my bread and butter looks like it's going to be the $20 free ship. So I'll make $15 a pop on a bunch of them. But those tubes are filled with posters. It's not like individual posters. And I did find one poster, one that is not a big poster. I don't know why it's this size. It's kind of like a half size. So it's kind of like 18 by 24 or something. 18 inches by 24 inches. It's weird. And it's called Pin. A Plastic Nightmare is the name of the movie. And that's a horror movie. And that's a horror movie, I think, from like the early 90s, like 89, 90, 91. I don't know the year. But I do remember that movie is like a cult classic. I remember the movie because, you know, whatever. I was in college when that thing came out, I think. Don't hold me to this, but I'm pretty sure that movie came out when I was in college and people were watching it on VHS. I know it wasn't on DVD, so it was on VHS. And that poster is in this bunch, which is really weird because everything else is from 2002 to 2008. And that one thing, well, there's two. There's another movie called Gun Runner, and it's from 1989, and it's Kevin Costner, a movie I'd never heard of. And then that one. Those are the only two. Now that Pin, the VHS is worth $100. Who knows how much the poster's worth? That could be worth something. Like, there are no comps, like except for like the VHS. So that's interesting. That's the one thing that I thought was really pretty interesting that I found that was like out of the ordinary kind of thing. Yeah, I found Casino Royale. I had 3 or 4 of those posters. I got the Pineapple Expresses and the Talladega Nights and all those that are real popular. Like I want to put on my dorm room wall or whatever kind of stuff. Um, but everything's from 2002 to 2008. Now, uh, but that was a pleasant surprise that I found in all this big bunch of stuff, and I thought that that would be a cool thing to list also. Um, but yeah, that's what I'm doing right now. I'm going to be listing. I was trying to find my basically my home runs, anything that's like $100 to $35, kind of listing those first and getting a fee and starting pumping those out. And Laura has been helping me do all of that, like take pictures, list, and start cranking those out. We just kind of took a break because it's so much. Now I kind of know what I have because I've inventoried everything mentally, not really inventoried it, but I kind of started pulling the things when I was like, oh, Pirates of the Caribbean, awesome. Pulling off the side, or James Bond, or Star Wars, or whatever the thing was. I had 2 Harry Potter movies too. So I started pulling those off and started listing those. Iron Man was a really pleasant surprise because without that, this would have been selling 25 to $35 posters to try to make my money up. But with that in there, that was just a super pleasant surprise that that was in there. National Treasures in there. Oh, Indiana Jones 4, the Crystal Skull movie, which is my Uncle Bill's one of his favorite movies. Um, and shout out to Uncle Bill. But I think that that's kind of the thing that's kind of cool about all this is you kind of start looking at all these movies. There's a bunch of Pixar, there's a bunch of Disney, but nothing that I would deem as like, oh, this is like $100 poster. Except for I just had a few, which uh, once you start looking into this time frame, you kind of start figuring out what's worth what and what's worth not. So anyway, I wanted to make a longer video about these movie posters because it's something I didn't know anything about. Obviously, just kind of researching and figuring it out on my own because I got this huge deal and trying to do all this. And but it's kind of cool if I find something, that pin poster. When I find that, I'm gonna make a video on kind of the weird or unique ones that I found. Not the real popular ones, but some things that are really odd. Um, I'm trying to think right now of some that are kind of, well, there was one. There was one about Amber Heard, and it was like the secrecy of lies or something kind of like that, or I'm gonna get you back or something. It was kind of something like that. I just thought it was ironic, but yeah, she's in one of them, and I thought that was kind of cool. But there's lots. It's kind of interesting too. You think back in that time frame. It's 20 years ago, 15 years ago, whatever. And you start thinking like these people. Some of these people used to be movie stars, like, and they're not movie stars anymore, right? Like they're kind of out of the loop or whatever. But there's just a time frame there where it was like, oh, this person was a movie star, and they made a bunch of movies. And I think that's kind of cool too. But anyway, God bless you, and I'll talk to you guys later. I'm gonna try to upload this video real quick and get it out to you guys.